Okay folks, here it is, the long-awaited sequel to one of my most viewed videos. I've had the SRAM Force AXS group on my bike for over a year now, and it's time to answer the biggest question of all. Is it really better than its big brother, SRAM Red AXS? Stick around, let's find out. SRAM was nice enough to send me this group right before all hell broke loose in 2020, but this is not a sponsored review. This is my honest take on what I thought was one of the best values to hit the market in a long time. And if you're wondering what took so long, it's this. I didn't want to give you the typical marketing speak fresh out of the box commercial. No. I wanted to see how Force AXS performed over time. I wanted to try to break it. I wanted to neglect it and see if something went sideways in the middle of an all-day epic. Well, I've kicked its ass for almost a year. It's been on a gravel bike and a road bike, and I just rode it at BWR, and my conclusion is this. It's probably the most dependable and worry-free kit I've ever used. The levers are substantial without being bulky, and to my hands, the controls feel identical to both the first generation of eTap and the current generation of Red AXS, or AXS. The hood shape feels bigger and more comfortable than my Dura Ace hoods, actually. They're also super easy to install and sync to the derailleurs, and the bleeding edge technology makes brake setup equally simple as long as you have the right tools. The original brake pads lasted about 6 months under the conditions I rode them in, so I just replaced them before the race, and the grab and the feel and the distance it takes to actually engage the brakes is kind of back to normal, and it feels like new. I've kind of heard the same complaints from other SRAM disc brake users. I don't know, I guess they just don't last very long. The good news is they're fairly affordable and super easy to replace. My recommendation is to install fresh pads every 6 to 8 months on a gravel bike, and maybe like every 8 to 12 on a road bike, depending on how much you use them. And look, as long as you do that, there's plenty of stopping power and modulation available. Honestly, it's on par with the Dura Ace 9100 brakes I have on my Cervelo. Now, the derailleurs, more specifically the speed of the shifting, is something that a lot of riders and reviewers complain about. Everyone says it's not as fast as Di2. Well, newsflash, it isn't. And it doesn't matter because you're not Egan Bernal or Chris Froome, and you're not getting dropped on the local climb because your shifting is 50 milliseconds slower than the other guys. In the year I've had Force AXS, it's never missed a shift or dropped the chain or even hesitated slightly to go from cog to cog. And it's also nowhere near as finicky as my Dura Ace derailleurs, which can be terribly frustrating to micro-adjust if you're a DIY mechanic like me. And of course, no review of any AXS group would be complete without some commentary on the flat top chain and the tighter X-range gearing. My Gruppo has a 1036 cassette with 4633 chain rings, and that truly covers all the bases. That's the same gearing I had on the Red group I reviewed last year, and aside from a few super steep off-road climbs, it has every gear I need from 2 to 45 miles per hour, and the gaps between gears are mapped out perfectly to keep you from jumping massively from one cadence to the other. As for the flat top chain, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Shifts smoothly, operates quietly. I highly recommend using a lot of wet lube or something like Silka's super secret chain wax, as it tends to get noisy when it dries out, like especially when you ride gravel a lot. But what's really cool is that the amount or the type of lubricant you use really has zero bearing on the quality and speed of the shifts, which is nice if you're riding long, dry, dusty, or muddy epics. The only thing I can say I'd change is the cassette. It's a freaking brick. It's so heavy, I'm afraid to put it on a scale or even look at the advertised weight. And I'm not even a weight weenie. If you've got extra budget and it's available, which is kind of a big deal right now, do yourself a favor and upgrade to the Red version right off the bat. SRAM Force AXS is priced around the same as Shimano GRX Di2 and Ultegra Di2. I found deals on all three from $2,300 to $2,600, which is around $1,000 less than Red. And Force is featured on bikes from all the big brands in the 6 to 8K range. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Buy Force or the Force bike and spend the grand you saved on a nice wheel upgrade or a smart trainer. Blindfolded, you'll never know the difference between Red and Force, and it goes toe to toe with Shimano's offerings as well. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. Hit the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. And hit my affiliate link in the description below to treat yourself to a SRAM Force group. All right, take care, and I'll see you next time.